Although by far the largest island on the planet that isn't a continent, Greenland is a rather mysterious place that most people don't know much about. But first of all, why is it called Greenland? Wouldn't Whiteland make sense? Or Iceland? Oh wait, that already exists. Okay then, Snowland. It actually got its name from Ulrik the Red, an Icelandic murderer who was exiled to the island. He pulled off a pretty successful marketing stunt. He called it Greenland in hopes that the name would attract settlers, and over 1,000 years later, we still call it by that very name. So it most certainly worked. So Greenland is not actually a country. It is an autonomous Danish-dependent territory with limited self-government and its own parliament. Though a part of the continent of North America, Greenland has been politically and culturally associated with Europe, in particular two colonial powers, Norway and Denmark, since the 9th century. Denmark contributes 2/3 of Greenland's budget revenue, the rest coming mainly from fishing, potential oil, gas and rare earth minerals. Greenland enjoys perpetual daylight for 2 months each year. Over 80% of the island is covered by a permanent ice cap, 4 kilometers thick in places. Global warming is causing this to melt, but has also increased access to Greenland's mineral resources. The USA has long seen Greenland as strategically important and established a radar base there at the start of the Cold War. The US was so keen to own this land, so much so that Donald Trump actually wanted to purchase it when he was president. So at over 2.1 million kilometers squared, Greenland is the largest island on Earth that isn't a continent. If Greenland were its own individual nation, then it would actually rank as the 12th largest in the world, larger than Saudi Arabia, Mexico or Indonesia. The capital city is Nuuk, home to around 19,000 of the country's entire 56,000 population. So a 2.1 million kilometers squared region with only 56,000 people makes Greenland one of the most sparsely populated areas on Earth, with just 0.14 people per kilometer squared, or just one person for every 7 kilometers squared. It's pretty chilly in Nuuk. In winter, it sees temperatures ranging from -5 to -10 degrees Celsius. Summer isn't too bad, as it can see temperatures on average of up to 11 degrees Celsius. The highest temperature Nuuk has ever seen was a sweltering 22.2 degrees Celsius in 2016. Greenlandic is the official language there, with Danish and English also being recognized too. Inuits make up 89% of the total population, 7.5% Danish, 1.1% other Nordics, and 1.9% other. Of this population, an overwhelming 95.5% class themselves as Protestant. The life expectancy for men is around 71 years and 76 years for women. Greenland's GDP is around $3 billion US, which means that its GDP per capita is around 53,000 US dollars or so. Now, this actually took me by surprise. That is pretty impressive. I was expecting it to be much lower. This 53,000 GDP per capita actually ranks the Greenlandic people as the 15th richest in the world, richer than Austria, Germany or the United Arab Emirates. The currency there is the Danish krone, they drive on the right side of the road, and the internet domain is .gl. Greenland is astronomically wrong on a traditional world map due to the Mercator projection. So looking at this map, Greenland looks absolutely gigantic, right? I mean, well, it is at over 2.1 million kilometers squared. However, it is nowhere near as big as it makes out to be. If we drag Greenland down to the equator, we can see it is actually much smaller than first anticipated. There are virtually no roads between cities because the coast has many fjords that would require ferry services to connect a road network. The nearest country to Greenland is Canada, to the west and southwest across Nares Strait and Baffin Bay. Nuuk is around 2,600 kilometers away from Ottawa, the Canadian capital, as the crow flies. Iceland is located east of Greenland. The distance as the crow flies from Nuuk to Reykjavik is around 1,400 kilometers, about the same distance from London to Warsaw in Poland. Greenland also contains the world's largest national park, which stretches for nearly 1 million kilometers squared, which would make this region the 30th largest country in the world if it was its own individual nation. Wow. All towns and settlements of Greenland are situated along the ice-free coast, with the population being concentrated along the west coast, as mentioned earlier, mainly in the capital Nuuk. The Greenlandic flag looks like this. It follows the same colour scheme as that of the Danish flag, but obviously a different design and pattern. So to finish off this video, let's run through some quick facts about Greenland. Greenland has the most northerly capital in the world, Nuuk. However, as it is an autonomous region of Denmark, it technically isn't a real capital city. There are more boats than cars in Greenland. Have you ever went kayaking before? Well, you have the Inuits to thank for that, as it was Inuit hunters from Greenland who invented this mode of transport. Almost 80% of the landmass is covered by an ice cap and glaciers. Though a minority of land, the ice-free area is nearly as large as Sweden. The cost of living, mainly for groceries, is extremely high in Greenland. For regular everyday goods, prices are between 5 to 80% more expensive than in London. Rent prices, however, are astronomically higher in London. So there we have it. Hopefully you learned something new about this quite mysterious autonomous island. If given the chances, would you visit there? It kind of looks quite cool, right? Although I love the sun and the warm ocean, I would love to visit this rather unknown part of the world. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and we will see you very soon in our next intriguing video.